Oh, hi everyone. How are you? Hope you're all doing amazing. I hope you guys have gotten more and more relaxation. Like I said, it was kind of nice the way that the holidays fell this year, in that they fell on the weekend, so we all got the extra federal holidays on that Monday. And it just seems like it's just been nice. People are just seeming a little less hurried, more relaxed this year than I've seen. Um, and it's really nice. Now I have my big, huge mofo splint on, and I mean, it is a mofo. It has these big pillows that go against me that are curved, and then my hand has to go around this squishy black ball, this nutsack. So it is not easy to fit in when I'm out. And it's been the most interesting experience because people are being kind to me. Like, whereas, there's so many people, we're just in this world right now where you just kind of look down and don't really do anything. And the people just go like they're going to look down, and then they glance at it and they look up at me and they give me a smile or open the door or look at my husband fondly as he's nicely trying to pull up my pants because they keep falling down, or he's cutting my food for me. I mean, we look like this cute little 80-year-old couple, you know? We went out to dinner last week and went out to breakfast today. So that's my two big. Actually, we went out to breakfast last week as well. So two breakfasts and a dinner out. And like I say, I hand it to you left-handers. Like, it is just ridiculous trying to eat with your left hand. I feel like, when you're giving the child the food and you're like going, "Here comes the airplane, zoomy, 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 zoomy," because it's like I can't even like flex it and have my left hand like eat like a normal person or anything for some reason because I'm so right-handed. So it's like my left arm has to come way out with the food. Like, what is? And I can't fit in booths. Um, it's been twice now where because I usually like a booth, so I'll make reservations for a booth, and I'll go to sit down, and the host will obviously see that I can't, and because the big mofo pillows and everything, it goes up, and then like my hand is like up, and there's not enough room, so I have to sit at a table. So I've had to be moved twice, and I'm like, I am so sorry. I thought I'd be able to fit in, but with my gigantic fat ass and this big mofo splint is just not working. So there's that. Otherwise, it's doing really well. I started physical therapy, and it is just incredible because you can't even tell that I've had surgery. I had the five incisions, so two in the back, two on the top of my shoulder, one in the front, and then the big long one is in my like armpit fold. So it just looks like I need to stick a tampon in my armpit vagina. Um, but the other scars that had they had stitches and they had steri strips, and I got my stitches out last week, and literally you cannot tell. Like, if you were just to look straight on right now at my shoulder, you can't tell I've had surgery. I've healed that amazingly well, and I mean, like I said, the physical therapist couldn't believe it, and she sees a lot of people with it, so um, I'm doing really good, but I've done too much so far, so I'm already doing like more than I should be, of course. Always, ahead of everything, but I'm supposed to back it down a little bit because I'm letting my bicep do too much, and I had to have the bicep um, released and then reattached. So that, along with the rotator cuff, as you guys know, and so I'm doing really well, and I know it's because of all the positivity and prayers that you guys are sending to me. I hear them, I appreciate them, I feel them. So thank you so much. We are now 830 strong. We have 830 people going on this journey of WTF with us in the WATTS, and we're doing good because I think that just being able to hear things out loud goes a long way. when people have seen things, heard it, like the game of telephone, something changes a little bit, and then for whatever reason, for them to make salacious headlines, about their upcoming episode or whatever, people have misled others into what is actually documented. And I am not saying that I believe the discovery 100%. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that this is the law and the truth. I'm saying that this is where this came from. This is where this is documented. And if we've seen things that we can prove after that by showing a good example, a video of Shanann or Chris saying something differently, or from another reliable source, we know that certain things are not as they are. But people have created. Like I said, I just keep going to when Chris said that he's wearing the boots because he's afraid of, or he had his his pant leg in his boots because he's afraid of legless lizards. I just keep thinking of the legless lizards and how, like, the rumors grew legs. Like, they're just like some kind of a reptile that grew legs, and these rumors just grew legs, and people have went with them, and you, when you hear and see that, okay, this is what was supposed to be said, and this person took it out of text, and blah 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 blah. A good example is how people say that she bled out, and she didn't. Like I say, I mean, and I was explaining about the massive amount of amniotic fluid that one has when they are pregnant, and she was, not as far along as she said she was, but still she would have had a lot, and that's what you see in that sheet. You see that mixed with that reddish clay dirt. But then there is the addendum, because as we were reading last week, they thought that the amniotic, like the baby was, and contents were right there sitting at her labial opening. And as you see the addendum, that's not at all what it was. Is that they saw something, assumed and documented incorrectly, and then when you see the addendum, it makes sense. And I have done a video on that, so it's in my videos. If you haven't watched them, please do that. And if you haven't taken a moment to subscribe and like yet, please do so. It really helps me, and it helps the algorithm where it starts going, where my content will be suggested. And so I really appreciate that when you guys do that for me. I saw funny today, one of our little truth warriors with us did a cute little TikTok of scamming Shannon, and you know who you are. I saw it, and I wrote on your thing that I love it, and I was trying to share it to my thing, but it just wouldn't. So I saw it, thought it was because the way that you did it, you did a good job. I like it. I'm appreciating it. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started here. And we are already to part 21, if you can believe it. So part 21 in the Watts Discovery series with Tabitha Jane commentary, whether you like it or not. And we are starting on Discovery page 623 if you're following along in that way. And then if you're following along on the chronological pages, we are on 554 out of 1,960. And I am sipping blackberry lemonade and sipping lemon loaf tea with French vanilla creamer. That's my favorite way to go. The Tazo glazed lemon loaf tea. It's so good. I was reading the ingredients though, and it doesn't have any lemon in it. I don't know how that works out, but I'll have to read you the back of one of the tea bags. But like I say, I have to ingest the tea as I spill the tea here, right? So keep putting those questions up. They're gonna be all answered and discussed when I do the live with hopefully Hot Ham Radio and Nurse Veronica, or Objection Overruled will come in. And I know that a couple of others have wanted to hop on. And like I said, we'll do it through Discord and send a link through YouTube. So if you're not on Discord yet, um, please consider starting a profile, and then you can see when I go live. I don't trust StreamYard because everybody who got hacked in that last little round of hacks uh, was hacked through StreamYard. So I know that a lot of people use it and have no problems, and it looks really easy and it's tempting, but like I say, I think that was a catalyst in how people were able to um, hack and then like take over people's whole. I was watching Zav Girl when it happened to her, and she's sitting there, and all of a sudden her whole screen went gray and everything, and like you could watch, and somebody just like took over, and she was on StreamYard when it happened, and I felt so terrible for her. And I hope that she got everything all. This was a few months ago. I assume she got everything all cleaned up, but I just felt terrible when I saw it happening, and a few others in that same few day period um, got hacked. So, kind of staying away from that. Um, and here we go. Let's see here. So we are still with Agent Tammy Lee, the Tamburglar. None other than the Tamburglar. And it looks like this is an investigative supplement. And it is with Cassandra Cassie Rosenberg interview, Shanann's friend. And this was on 8:15 at 10:50 in the morning until 12 noon. So an hour and 10 minutes of an interview. And it says that it was reported by Stacy Galbraith. So maybe this isn't Tamburglar. Tamburglar was on the last page that we did. And so maybe she signed off. Maybe Tamburglar signed off, and we've got Agent Galbraith here. Galbraith? And it was approved on 8/27 by Agent in Charge, Kirby Lynn Lewis. And the synopsis of this is that the CBI assisted Frederick Police Department on 8/15 with the missing person case. Agent Galbraith interviewed Cassie Rosenberg, who was a friend of Shanann Watts, by phone on 8/15, 2018. And Cassie Rosenberg told Chris Watts that Nicole Atkinson was calling the police on 8/13, 2018 when they could not contact or location Shanann Watts. And yes, it says location. I'm not the one with the word problem. And it says that address occurred at, and it is redacted, and it says in Frederick, Colorado, 21701, and the Frederick Police Department. And then it says the association of the subject is Cassandra Rosenberg, and it says she's a 33-year-old white female, and she's not a juvenile. Her occupation is stated as multi-level marketing, and her alias is Cassie Rosenberg. All right, so pages 1 of 13 on this one. And now on this one it says Cassandra Cassie Rosenberg was identified as a good friend of Shanann Watts. At action taken says Agent Galbraith interviewed Cassie Rosenberg, friend of Shanann Watts, by phone on 8/15, 2018 at 10:50 hours. Cassie has known Shanann for 2 years. They met through Thrive and have instantly clicked. Their relationship has grown into an amazing friendship, and they are like sisters. They talk every day. There are maybe 2 days a week where the two do not immediately exchange good morning texts of some type with another. Oh, shit. Sorry about that. It was insane to Cassie to hear that Shanann was missing. She said that is not like Shanann to leave. She is OCD and very ritualistic in nature, referring to Shanann. Bella's first day back to school was to be 8/13/2018, and she already had her outfit planned. Shanann was excited and also had an OB appointment at 0900 hours. Okay, now, in another part of the discovery, it is stated that that doctor's appointment was at 10 o'clock, I believe. Either way, the first call that we know that Nicole Atkinson placed was at 9 o'clock. So Cassie's saying it was at 9 o'clock. I believe that we have seen it in another place where it says it was 10. But either way, when Nicole Atkinson called at 9 o'clock saying that Shanann had missed her appointment, it was really speculative. And as one of you truth warriors stated, maybe NA was saying she wasn't going to be there. Mm-hmm. Like I say, sipping and spilling the tea here. Mm-hmm. Here I go. You know, when I first heard that expression of spilling the tea, I'm like, what are you talking about? Why are you spilling the tea? Like, why don't you put it in a tumbler if you can't drink it properly? What's the problem? But I guess spilling the tea is like, oh, let's spill. Like, spill the details, right? The other one I didn't get forever is when people were like, ooh, you're throwing shade. Like, what? You're pulling down the blinds? Like, what are you throwing at people? I don't get it. Like, I honestly did not understand what people are. And then, oh, okay, so throwing shade is like when you dart your eyes over at somebody, you know, it's like you're throwing that shade. At least that's how the youngins say it. Okay, so Shanann was excited and also had an OB appointment at 0900 hours. Cassie described Shanann as distraught over the past weekend in Arizona. Shanann and Chris were having problems, and Shanann was not eating. Cassie is known for about 4 weeks that Chris and Shanann were having problems. In Arizona, Cassie tried to see that Shanann was eating because of her blood sugar going low from not eating. Cassie is a nurse. Okay. So, just out of curiosity, does Cassie carry a blood glucose monitor with her? Just wondering. Just wondering. When Shanann did not post after getting home. Okay, hold on a second. Why did her occupation not state that she was a nurse? Why did it say multi-level marketing? Did Cassie start making more than what she was making as a nurse? Is she a registered nurse or a practical nurse? Just wondering these details. Maybe those details will be revealed to me. I think Cassie's the pretty one. I think that in the show that I was trying to show clips of, that A&E doesn't like to share. Even though I did everything by the rule and the law of fair use, they just put so much of a headache on it that I stopped. But you know what? One of these days I might get all fired up and do it again and let them take me to frickin' court over it, because you know what? I wasn't doing anything wrong. I did the fair use. But I think Cassie's the pretty one. I know the other one isn't, but anyway. And so it says, when Shanann did not post after getting home, Cassie knew that it was not like Shanann at all. Cassie said that if Shanann would have gone somewhere with the kids, she would never leave without EpiPens. Oh my God. Cassie said that Shanann just would not leave, period. Okay. If you have anaphylaxis, like I have anaphylaxis, let me tell you, I have EpiPens in each vehicle, my handbag, had them at work. You know, and occasionally you carry them, you know, if you're like feeling a little froggy or you're going to be going on a hike, you know. I mean, you can't say that you have inventory on every single EpiPen. You can't say that, oh, because these two EpiPens were at home, because you get them auto refilled and they give you enough that, you can have them in multiple locations. Plus, um, you need to, well, at least for me, I had to administer 2 doses usually before the ER. So I just don't see how they could say that, oh, she didn't, she would not. I don't know. There's just so many assumptions here. Okay. Shanann works from home and was able to go to North Carolina to see family, friends, and grow her business. Before Shanann left for North Carolina, she and Chris were having sex 3 times a day. No, they weren't. Christopher Watts has testified, no, they did it once. Was the last time in May that he just stated, and so I don't know if Shanann was bragging about that. But God, why does anybody need to know this? I am telling you that my fellow Tupperware ladies, they don't know how often. I mean, what in the? I don't get it. I don't know why this was anything that you would tell your coworkers. And this is why she can't work in an actual. Well, she couldn't, because these are things that you cannot talk about in the workplace. I mean, you get fired. That's even talking about sex to a coworker like that, saying, "Oh yeah, we do it 3 times a day." That's grounds for dismissal, and you can't talk about that. You cannot do that. So, I imagine it's just a matter of time before MLMs get to that. I think that right now there is something brewing, where some people are filing suit towards the MLMs, and it's going to be that, because you can't continue to have people working this much and making nothing. You can't continue to have bullying and intimidation and calls of 24 hours a day. I mean, they're going to start regulating these MLMs, and this is, like I say, it's just so inappropriate. I mean, friends and work in an MLM, where does it stop? I mean, like I say, I just can't imagine. Unless you're like brand new dating and you haven't gotten any in a long time, why would somebody know this about you? Why does everybody know how much her and Christopher were, and when he was grabbing her ass? I mean, what in the? Was she 12? I mean, honestly, like when you're like 12 and 13 and you make it to second base and you tell your friends at the slumber party, okay, that's what you do, but this is ridiculous. I'm sorry, but they're 30. Just stop it. Just knock it off. Anyway, Shanann works from home and was able to go to North Carolina to see family, friends, and grow her business. Before Shanann left for North Carolina, she and Chris were having sex 3 times a day. Shanann told Cassie that Chris just couldn't get enough of her. Oh my God. He just couldn't get enough. Can you imagine that? Within the first week that Shanann was in North Carolina, she and Chris were not even talking on the phone much. He was being very strange. Chris flew in the last week Shanann and the girls were in North Carolina, and they got a condo by the beach to spend time together as a family. Yeah, we know how that was going. And how did they afford that? Carolina, Shanann had told Cassie that Chris was very cold. He only called her Shanann, which he had not really done since they started dating. He usually only called her pet names like Honey or Babe. Chris would not hug Shanann or even hold her hand. He would not tell her he loved her. Shanann expressed to Cassie that Chris was a totally different person and was not the man that she married 8 years ago. It was Chris that wanted a third child. He is the one that talked Shanann into having a third child. Based upon the information that Cassie gathered from Shanann, Cassie and her husband Josh both believed that Chris had probably been cheating on Shanann, but Cassie did not tell Shanann that she thought that. Cassie told me about a situation in North Carolina that resulted in an argument between Shanann and Chris's mother. Yes, folks, here we go again. Nutgate. It involved his mother having nut products, and Shanann decided she would not bring the kids back if they were in danger there with CC's, and then in parentheses, 3-year-old daughter Celeste, commonly referred to as Cece, nut allergy. Chris's parents blocked Shanann on Facebook, and they did not attend Cece's birthday party in North Carolina. Good for them. I mean, honestly. Last week, Chris and Shanann were in North Carolina. He told her that he did not want the third baby, was not in love with Shanann, and did not care about Shanann or the baby. He told Shanann that he had thought that having a third baby would fix things. Once Shanann flew home to Colorado, she only texted Cassie because she did not want Chris to know she was discussing their problems with others. What? She called everybody and told everybody. Or did Chris tell her to knock it off? But she's not 13? Mm-hmm. Does that make him bad if he did? That Chris is the submissive one in the marriage. Shanann had decided not to push Chris on the matter. Shanann set up a trip to Aspen for the weekend after Scottsdale so that she and Chris could have some, in parentheses, us time. Kate, you know what? Parents had the girls so they could have some alone time too when she was in North Carolina. I remember her saying this. Okay, now here we go here. Before going to Arizona, Shanann had an ultrasound that revealed the gender of the baby Shanann was carrying. Nicole Atkinson knew the gender and planned a gender reveal party. Shanann just asked Nicole to tell her the gender because she felt Chris was going to leave her and she needed to feel happy. Chris and Shanann decided to have their own gender reveal ceremony together, which was recorded and posted on Facebook. Cassie and her husband, Josh, noticed that Chris smiled but was not excited based upon his expressions. Now, this is news to me because back and forth with her canceling the gender reveal, canceling the ultrasound, not having prenatal care, not going in even though she was very, very sick, saying she was out of network. This is very, very important to me to see it like this. This is something that, because I have went out on record and said she did not have an ultrasound. I was not convinced of it. Now, the reasons why I was not convinced were because of the ultrasound pictures that were sent. And one was sent on Father's Day, and another was sent, I can't remember. But both of them were not the appropriate size of a fetus for that date in time. So, I can now say that the ultrasound pictures that were sent were not of the third pregnancy with definitive cause, but I am in error in saying that she did not have one, and I apologize for that. I think it was definitely, I think Bumblebee told me that she had it right before, and so I think Bumblebee definitely was right in that. Shout out to Bumblebee. Bumblebee's really good about facts, and she's really, really good. And now, like I say, I don't believe that any of the ultrasounds shown were from this date. But this is where it would have came that she was having a boy. Now, this would mean that the week, barely even a week prior to whatever happened that night, well, her loss of life, is when she found out that it was a boy. Okay? I have never seen anything to that effect. When the ultrasound or the measurements of the baby and the autopsy are broken down, during the autopsy, they were not able to visualize the gender. Now, if you can't visualize the gender when you have the fetus there and you're analyzing it for an autopsy, that's problematic in how they were able to do this, especially because for a boy, you're looking for the sign of the turtle. They call it the turtle sign, okay? So there's some back and forth here in what is and isn't, because she was saying that it was a boy long before this event. So, do I believe it? It's still what Shanann said. Now it's what Cassie's saying. It's still like hearsay. But I've got to go with it's looking more and more like she did have. But why and how did she have? Because it's rumored that it was that mall ultrasound, because the guy called in, and I still have not seen what he said about, because he called in with information. Why would she have not, if she had this OB appointment, the money that she returned, why wouldn't she have her doctor be doing the ultrasound, the doctor's office? I mean, even, I have 6 kids, and my fifth and sixth are twins, so I've had a ton of ultrasounds, and I've had eclampsia and blah 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 blah, kidney failure twice during pregnancy, and complications galore. So I've had my fair share of ultrasounds. So on mine, so my youngest are now 19. My oldest is 34. So my 19-year-olds, you still couldn't see gender until 16 weeks. And when you go back to when her and CW had relations versus when she may have with somebody else, and the skeletal measurement of the fetus, she was only 11 weeks along. So I don't see, anybody can say, oh, she could have a blood test. She didn't have a blood test. We know that. She wanted to say it was a boy to hold on to him. I still don't know. I mean, I've still got some doubt, but I definitely see where the information came out from, that people really believe it. But we now really know, too, that she didn't, when she was sending the Father's Day one and stuff, she didn't have an ultrasound. And people have shown that there was actually Cece's ultrasound. And then when, there's actually an article, like you can Google, and it shows the ultrasound, and it shows like a full grown, like it's ready to ride a trike. And she put it in something, and it's like, no, the baby was not that big. And if they didn't have money, she paying for a private ultrasound, and why? Just so weird. So many weird things. If you don't have any money, how are you going to Aspen? You don't have any money, how are you getting an oceanfront condo in North Carolina? You don't have any money, how are you paying back and forth for all of this airfare? Just weird, right? And just like, how? Oh yeah, well, you can have a lot if you don't make your house payment, right? So anyway, I think he got out the money to get the house payment caught up, and I don't think it was used for that, quite frankly, when it all is all coming out. All right. So I never saw a Facebook video about the private gender reveal with Chris and Shanann. Did anybody else? I'm gonna write this down. There we go. Do I think that NA would have covered for her to say that she had it and it was a boy? Yeah, I do. But that's not the only thing that I think that NA hasn't been forthcoming about, but okay. So, I want to read this again because I think it's so poignant. Before going to Arizona, Shanann had an ultrasound that revealed the gender of the baby Shanann was carrying. Nicole Atkinson knew the gender and planned a gender reveal party. Shanann just asked Nicole to tell her the gender because she felt Chris was going to leave her and she needed to feel happy. Chris and Shanann decided to have their own gender reveal ceremony together, which was recorded and posted on Facebook. Cassie and her husband Josh noticed that Chris smiled but was not excited based on his expressions. That sounds like when she told him that she was pregnant. You know? The oops, I did it again moment. In Arizona, Shanann was broken and scared Chris was going to leave her. She was afraid he was going to take the kids from her. She was not eating, and it was heartbreaking for Cassie to see Shanann in that way. Cassie talked to Shanann and encouraged her to talk with Chris and to be calm. The texts from him were cold and not caring. Shanann had him on speaker for a phone call once, and Cassie heard that he did not want to talk to her. Shanann told me that this was not the Chris that she knew. He became very different. On Monday morning, when Cassie had not heard from Shanann, she talked with Nicole. Nicole, being in Colorado, could go look at Shanann's house. Cassie was on the phone with Nicole while she was doing this, using the camera on the phone for video. Shanann's car was there in the garage, and Shanann was not answering. They grew concerned about Shanann's health. Nicole tried the code for the front door, but there was an internal door latch that prevented entry. The latch was there as Shanann was worried that her kids would open the door. Shanann's shoes were by the door, which was normal. Okay. Cassie started texting Chris. She told Chris that Nicole was at the house and they were concerned about Shanann. Chris told Nicole that he and Shanann were getting separated and told her that Shanann was fine. He told Nicole to leave the house. Was that at 9? I wonder if that was at 9 o'clock. That would make sense. That he told Nicole to leave the house. They're getting separated and Shanann's fine. I'll leave. I bet you. And then she probably, called, or Mama Root called and said, "Get back there. Get your fat ass back there." Nicole knew that Shanann had an OB appointment, and Nicole went to the office. Thank you very much. Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you. Cassie started texting Chris. She told Chris that Nicole was at the house and they were concerned about Shanann. Chris told Nicole that he and Shanann were getting separated and told her that Shanann was fine. He told Nicole to leave the house. God, that's funny. Cassie and Nicole knew Shanann had an OB appointment, and Nicole went to the office to see if Shanann had made it to her appointment, which she had not. Okay. So, who knows where you're going to the doctor at, too? Like, how... It took a village to raise Shanann? Like, how does everybody know every detail about her? Is it Shanann Kardashian? My gosh. This was not like Shanann at all. Cassie and Nicole decided they needed to call the police. Cassie texted Chris to get him to go to the house, and they told him they were calling the police. Okay, yeah, so I bet you at 9 o'clock, Nicole called Cassie and Chris, and Chris told her to leave the house. Everything's fine. Him and her, him and Shanann are separating, and she needs to mind her own business. That's what happened. And then she called Cassie, and this is what happened. It's all making sense. Chris insisted that they were getting separated and things were okay. Cassie told Chris to get his ass to the house. Chris called Cassie, and it sounded like he was driving. Chris told Cassie not to call the police. He said he did not want the police involved. He told Cassie he was sure that Shanann was fine. Cassie warned Chris that if he was not there in 30 minutes, she was calling the police. Nicole's son, with going around the house, like I say, they don't have the right words in here. It says that. Nicole's son, with going around the house, trying to find an access point to go in and look for Shanann. 20 minutes passed, and Cassie finally told Nicole to just call the police as they were wasting valuable time if Shanann was inside needing help. Police arrived, and it had been 45 minutes. Chris should have already been there, in Cassie's opinion, with him driving from work. Before police were about to bust the door to make entry to check on Shanann, Chris was reached by phone and denied entry as he was right around the corner. When Chris arrived, the police, Chris, and Nicole went in to check for Shanann. Shanann's phone was located. Cassie insisted that Shanann would have never left her phone and would have never left the kids' medication in the cupboard if she left the house. Shanann's purse on the counter did not add up to Cassie either. So what? She goes and runs and looks in the cabinets too? Cassie insisted that if we found out where Chris's truck went that morning, we would find Shanann and the kids. Cassie said that Shanann would not have left without contacting her or her other friends. Shanann was an open person and would tell someone. Cassie knew of no problems Shanann may have had with other persons. The only person in Colorado aware of Shanann and Chris's marriage problems is Nicole. No. Cassie felt like Shanann would go there if there were problems with Chris and Shanann had to leave. I asked about Chris's Facebook account and activity. Cassie said that Shanann would go post for Chris. He never posted. He deleted his Facebook account while Shanann was in North Carolina. And Cassie thought that Chris probably cheated on Shanann and deleted his account because of that. Shanann was looking forward to the first day of school on 8/13/2018. She tried to change her flight to arrive home earlier, but it was going to be $300 more. Shanann said she was going to be exhausted. Shanann wakes up with Chris every morning at 4 a.m. for her morning routine. She showers, gets ready for the day, gets the girls up and makes them breakfast and makes the beds. Cassie knew the kids' beds were messed up when Nicole went inside the house with police looking for Shanann. Cassie said that was definitely not normal. Shanann would have made the kids' beds. Concerned with the explanation of Chris about Shanann's whereabouts, Cassie said that Addie told her that Chris said Shanann left in the middle of the night. He supposedly told Nicole they were at a play date. This is what I was talking about, how like the game of telephone and all these details get messed up. Because it says, Cassie said that Addie told her that Chris said that Shanann left in the middle of the night. He didn't say that to anybody as far as we can see. He supposedly told Nicole they were at a play date. Cassie told me that Chris was never involved in matters such as contacting the kids at school. Only Shanann handled contacting the school. Primrose is a very nice school, and Shanann fought hard to get the kids into it. She would never risk losing their spot by not showing up for the first day. Cassie checked her text messages for dates pertaining to Shanann. Cassie believed Shanann was in North Carolina from 6/27 through 8/7 of 2018. Cassie told me that Chris did not sound worried when she was talking to him by phone on 8/13/2018, trying to get him to go home to go into the house to check for Shanann. Cassie said that she was cussing him out, trying to get him to go there. Cassie said that Chris later that day called her husband Josh to ask if he looked bad in the situation, and Josh told him that he does and encouraged him to cooperate and give police his cell phone and truck. He asked Josh if he should go to work the next day or now. Josh told him it was up to him, but probably not since his wife and kids were missing. Josh and Cassie decided that something was wrong and Chris was not the guy they knew. I asked Cassie if she knew anything of Chris and Shanann considering selling their house. Cassie told me that in Scottsdale, Arizona, Shanann mentioned that Chris had oil field insight and new wells were going to be drilled around the area of their housing area. This will cause their value to drop, and Shanann said Chris wanted to sell the house before the wells were drilled. Shanann said that they themselves were not worried about living near oil wells. She said she loves her home and did not want to leave it. Cassie told Shanann to talk with Chris about it, and she said she would, and said again how she loves their home. There was no plan in place to sell the home. Shanann said she planned to talk with the realtor Ann Meadows. Ann helped them to get into the home they live in now. Contact information for is phone number. I'm not going to give it out. But now let's think about this. We have the texts that say that they were going to sell the house. I doubt that there was going to be any oil wells dug where they are making housing developments. I think that this was a shenanigan in that she didn't want to tell everybody that she had not been making her house payments and that she couldn't make her house payments and that they had claimed bankruptcy the year before and they needed to again, and that they were already so far in debt that they couldn't buy food, and that they just took out $10,000 out of Christopher Watts' retirement fund to catch up the house payment, but apparently wasn't used for that. Because what would that have done to her image? Her image that she's all of this and a bag of chips? And that she's making all of this money and she's so successful with her MLMing? Yeah, right. So she had to act like, well, Chris got this inside scoop and we've got to sell because our equity is going to be gone. I mean, if we don't do this now, there's no telling what's going to happen. And, we're just going to, we're going to sell it for now and then just kind of, get a house and just kind of settle into, and then we're going to rebuild a new one. And then it's going to have a pool and a water feature. And, I mean, can't you just hear it? I can. Cassie said that when Chris got to North Carolina, Shanann said he was very cold and did not hug her or anything. They had not talked much while she was there. Shanann thought that it was at first because of an argument between Shanann and Chris's mom. Chris told Shanann he had not been in love with her for a while, and he thought having another baby would fix it. In Scottsdale, Shanann had said Chris agreed to go to counseling. Shanann started looking for a counselor and sent Cassie lists of counselors in her insurance network to help Shanann decide on one. Shanann planned to talk with Cassie on Monday, 8/13/2018, to decide. Shanann said she wanted to find an ugly dude counselor because she was so insecure given the problems she and Chris were having. Not a smart lady. Hmm? Interesting. I asked Cassie if Shanann ever mentioned life insurance policies. Shanann had not. She only mentioned that Chris's benefits had great coverage. And yes, she could have went when she was in North Carolina pretending to be sick. I asked about Shanann and Chris's finances. Cassie said that they did not have money rolling in, but Shanann did not speak of financial problems. Cassie never saw Shanann ordering from a menu based upon price alone. Before San Diego in June 2018, Shanann had hit the 80,000 link at Lavelle. Shanann had told Cassie that Chris loves the money when she gets paid every Tuesday. So she hit the 80,000 in June of 2018. So she bought $80,000 worth of Thrive herself, huh? Let's see here. What do you have to do to hit that? I think that I saw that picture too. Yeah, because that's where she's wearing the dress, right? And she was celebrating with Chris, but not the Chris she's married to. That Chris was at home taking care of the girls. I wonder how many people were really in her downline. Christopher thought that she had 200 in her downline. And if she did, oh yeah, she'd be rolling in the money. And we would not be here because I don't think that they would have had any problems. But, let's see. I asked if Chris's, and see, here it is again, because they put the apostrophe after Chris, so it'd be Chris's. So this is how it reads. I asked if Chris's changed in that he was spending, not, I asked if Chris changed in the way that, honestly, this is so hard to read because of the no punctuation, grammatical errors, and just overall bleh. Changed in that he was spending more time away from home. Cassie said that Chris was an introvert and Shanann would have to push him to go have dinner or drinks with guys. Chris was working out and running a lot more. He runs around the neighborhood. Cassie thought he had a gym membership but did not know where. Shanann got him weights and an elliptical for the house. Cassie said that Shanann wore the pants in the family. I think she wore a frickin' strap on too if we're going to get technical. Anyway, Cassie said that on Saturday night, Shanann was clear with her fear that Chris was cheating on her. Cassie talked with a babysitter and learned that Chris was not home from the baseball game yet. There was a charge alert that came through for a place about 15 minutes from their home. It was over $60 and it did not sound right to Shanann. An hour after Shanann got the charge alert, Chris was still not home, though the place was 15 minutes from the house. Cassie and Nicole were also in fear that Chris was cheating on Shanann. Shanann then talked with Chris in the room, but did not drill him over it. Cassie said that Shanann is not the type of person to be able to hold her emotions in. Cassie said that Shanann did not say there was any mention of her and Chris separating before she left for Arizona. They agreed to counseling while she was in Arizona. Cassie said that Chris is a great guy, but there are no others to be concerned about regarding Shanann's disappearance. Cassie recalled Chris's voice when he was telling her not to get the police involved. Cassie told me that Chris refuses to drive the work truck onto the driveway because he was concerned with getting oil from the tires on the driveway. Cassie and Josh were staying at the Watts house the end of May 2018. Cassie offered to park on the street to allow Chris to park in the driveway, but he declined. On a second. So Cassie even lived with them in the end of May 2018, and she did not know of the financial troubles they had? What lengths did she go to hide the truth, accentuating the lies? Wow. I mean, that's why she talks about, oh, Chris can't keep his hands off me. Oh, yeah, Chris does this. Oh, yeah, we pork 3 times a day. How did they have time to pork 3 times a day when he was at work? Oh, then, and I was going to say, and the girls, well, they're locked up for 15 out of 24 hours. That's how. But, and then with condoms, because she wore condoms. I mean, I just don't get it. I, I don't know. How do you, with all of the people coming and going from that house that stayed, I guess maybe one of those is the key words. I mean, was it a big swinger house? Because like why were all these couples staying in the house? And she said that they still have sex 3 times a day. How do you have sex at all with people staying at your house? I don't know. Just weird. But that's why she would accentuate and talk about those kind of things so that then the real things that affect people in a mature marriage, like finances, goals, those kinds of things, child rearing, actual problems, concerns, because she didn't have them because she dealt with them in her own way and she denied financial things because she was trying to draw so much attention saying that she was so successful. She wasn't. A big liar, liar, pants on fire. So anyway, I'm also wondering about oil on the tires because yeah, you work at an oil place, but you drive home on the highway. So you drive home, 15, 20 minutes, right? What oil would still be on your tires that you would get on the driveway? I don't get that. That's weird. And it says, okay, so you did not want any oil from the oil fields messing up the driveway. I just don't see how would that be on your vehicle? I mean, I don't know. Cassie had learned from Nicole that Chris backed his truck into the driveway the morning of 8/13/2018. Cassie said that when she was staying at their house, Chris never loaded or unloaded anything from his truck. They were there from 5/24/2018 to 5/28. Oh, okay. So they were just there for 4 days. What were they doing there for 4 days? Nancy saw Chris come home from work Thursday evening and did not pull into the driveway. He left for work Friday morning and returned Friday evening without pulling into the driveway. He left for work Monday morning, Memorial Day, and his truck was gone before Cassie left. I think that Cassie had recently moved, so maybe they stayed there while they were moving or something. I don't know. Cassie knew that Shanann would flip out if Chris opened the garage door in the morning because the girls were light sleepers and she did not want the door to wake them. He used the front door to leave for work in the mornings. Cassie told me that her gut tells her that Shanann and the girls are not alive because it's possible given their pattern of life that she knows. Wait a minute, because it's not possible given their pattern of life that she knows. Wow. Can you believe that she said this? So right away, Cassie thought that he had unalived them too. And she kept her cool for and around him, even though she told the investigator that she thinks that he unalived him. That is really something. And then it says, hold on, my tea bag erupted and I had to tea things. Oh my God. I just took a drink of tea. Literally a bunch of tea in my mouth. As in tea. And then my husband just brought me ice for my shoulder. I was saying thank you to, if you guys heard that. But and the ice pack smells like food from the freezer. So I'm just like, I'm having quite the moment with myself here. I'm smelling like garlic noodles or something. So anyway, physical therapy really worked me over today, so my shoulder hurts today more than it has since I had surgery to begin with. But it's also the weather is changing too, and I can feel it in my bones. So Cassie forwarded me screenshots of her text communication pertinent to this case. Agent review of said texts. And then it says text between Cassie and Shanann. And here we are on 7/9/2018, and it says Cassie asked Shanann about a post about Cece and is concerned. Okay. And then 7/9/2018. So on 7/9/2018, there's several texts, and so I'm going to read them, and have it known that these are all 7/9/2018. I will tell you when the date changes, and I'll do this in conversation style. So it says, Shanann replies to explain a disagreement with her mother-in-law regarding her children and allergies. Shanann says she wants Chris to say something to his mom about the food incident, but his mom talks over him. Shanann says her and her mother-in-law, have had it out for 8 years. Shanann says she is different with her hubby, is around her and her daughter. Wait, Shanann says she is different with her hubby, is around, and her daughter. Okay, that doesn't make any sense. I tried twice. Shanann says her daughter is the golden child and her kids. Shanann says Chris was chopped liver his whole life. Cassie suggests Chris confronting his mother. Shanann says she got home from Celeste's party and the in-laws were a no-show. Shanann said they are out of her life now. Shanann says she wants to block them. Cassie said she would keep them on Facebook but would not talk to them or make a point to be around them for anything. Shanann says she does not ever want to see them again. Oh, I'm sorry. These last two are on 7/15. So let's see. So the ones were from the 9th, and then the 15th started when it says Shanann got home from Celeste's party and the in-laws were a no-show. Shanann says they are out of her kids' life now. Shanann says she wants to block them. Cassie says she would keep them on Facebook but would not talk to them or make it a point to be around them for anything. Shanann says she does not ever want to see them again. Okay, and now we're going to 8/3/2018. Cassie asks Shanann if she got all of her messages. Shanann responds that she did and it's been a rough day. Cassie asks why it was rough. Then they discuss, possibly, a home. And Cassie says they do not want to be in their home for any longer than a month, as they don't want to put them out. Shanann says they would not put them out and that she cannot explain on text and it's not a good time. Now on 8/5, Shanann sends text that she said she sent to Chris about the incident in North Carolina between her and his parents about their children. Shanann is not sorry for what she said to his mother and says that she loves her kids. Shanann then also addresses the distance between her and Chris in the text also. She texted him in parentheses. From the day I left, you never said I missed you before I said it. Something changed when I left. You may be happier alone, and that's fine. You can be alone. This pregnancy, you have failed to acknowledge it or acknowledge how I'm feeling. The first trimester is the scariest and most dangerous, yet we can lose this baby at any point till delivery. I'm not going to be treated this way for having the balls to protect our family and kids. I should get a gold ducking medal for handling it the way I did, because I had a lot of choice words I wanted to say to her and your dad for his stupidity. No one stands up to your mom and dad for that. He's just as guilty by not doing anything. I have nothing to do with him stop sharing memories of his grandkids. What does that have to do with me? I am their mother and I will protect them. I have enough to worry about with the world out there. I'm not going to worry about family. I will just remove it. Bam. And that's why I think that his version of events is accurate. Because when she said, because that's not the only place she says it. She says she will remove it. Now the next thing has a question mark for a date. And it goes on to say that Shanann told Cassie that is what she texted Chris in the middle of the night. Cassie asked what Chris said, and Shanann said he said nothing. And then she said he replied that he loves the kids. He asked Shanann if the kids could see his parents, and she told him no. She said she's standing her ground. She said they have not made contact in 4 weeks, a no-show for her party, and said nothing for her birthday. Cassie expressed that she is shocked that Chris had not said S word about what she said to him. Cassie said that he needs to open up and talk to Shanann about everything, clear the air, work on it, and then work on the issue with his parents. Shanann says she's been trying to talk to him for 4 days, and he's not said anything in return. Shanann says it's okay. Cassie asks if that's really what she and he wants. Shanann says it's not, but she also is not going to live like this. She is not going to be ignored and not loved. And then on 8/5, it says Shanann says he is going to his parents tomorrow. Cassie suggests they talk with someone when they get home, as throwing away what they have together is not okay. Shanann says she cannot and will not fight alone. She needs a man that has the balls to protect his family, even when it comes to his own blood. Shanann says he's a totally different person from the guy she's known for 8 years. Shanann says she would not change a thing and calls herself a saint for not telling his mom that she is a narcissist, stupid bitch, and just say they were done and never coming back. Discussion: they will see each other Friday and will split the room. And then on 8/6, Shanann says she is dizzy, lightheaded, and nauseous. She then says she has not pooped in weeks due to constipation. Why? Why? Weeks. Oh my god. She's dizzy, lightheaded, and nauseous. Yeah, probably because the turd's working its way back out through her mouth because, oh my god. And then on 8/6/2018, Shanann sends a screenshot of her flight itinerary. And it says 8/10/2018, 0700 Denver to Phoenix, 0750 hours. 8/12/2018, 2045 hours depart Phoenix. 8/6 says there is a do not disturb while driving text from Shanann to Cassie. Shanann replies that Chris is driving, not her. Shanann said they were headed to see his grandma, and then she was taking the girls as he goes to his parents. Cassie asked if he was going to talk with them about the issue and work it out, and Shanann replied, "Who knows? You can't protect someone you're not in love with anymore. He doesn't have the balls." Shanann tells Cassie that his parents do not love him the way that he loves them, and that he is wanting their love and attention so much and they do not give it. He is seeking their approval, according to Shanann. Shanann tells Cassie that he is so cold and not the guy she's been with for the past 8 years. Cassie tells Shanann that she talked with Josh and he wanted to try to talk with Chris, but won't because he's not supposed to know what's going on. Shanann texted him. I told him I don't know who this person is, but the person I left 7 weeks ago would have answered differently. Why are you married to me? Because we love each other. He said that's all he can think of to say at the moment. I told him why I married him and why I'm still married to him. We took a few paragraphs, not a mutual answer. That's literally what it says. It says, took a few paragraphs, not a mutual answer. I said, you love me, BC. I'm the mother of your kids. You're not in love with me. I told him I think he enjoyed single life too well, and that I think he may realize he prefers to be alone. He's not in love with me. A person still madly in love can find what to say. He responded, I don't want to lose the kids. I walked away in tears since I couldn't take it anymore. If you're done, don't love me, don't want to work this out, not happy anymore, and only staying because of the kids, I need you to tell me. There was also a screenshot from the right side. A parent sender, Shanann. I don't know how you fell out of love with me in 5.5 weeks, or if this has been going on for a long time. But you don't plan another baby if you're not in love. Kids don't deserve a broken family. I left you could take your hands off me. You show up and I have to practically ask you for a kiss in airport. Being away from you, it's not the help I missed because I can handle that. It was exhausting, but with school, that's not hard. I miss the smell of you. You touching me when I'm cooking. You touching me in bed. You touching me, period. I missed holding you and snuggling with you. I missed eating with you, watching TV with you. I missed staring at you. I missed making love with you. I missed everything about you. I couldn't wait to touch you, hold you, kiss you, make love to you, smell you, laugh. Shanann said she texted that the previous night after she could not take any more. Shanann told Cassie that she knows he's not good at conflict and avoids it at all costs, and is better at writing his feelings than talking. This is so bad. Why do they mess this up and make this so hard to read? Or it's her stuff because, okay, one more time. And is better at writing his feelings than talking them at times. Shanann planned to see how he was that night. Shanann told Cassie, she told him that life is about making tough choices and that he cannot fight for someone he does not love. She told him he was going to have to step out of his comfort zone and defend and protect his family. Shanann said all he said was that he knew. And on 8/6/2018, discussion about Cassie feeling sick and making sure Nicole gets lunch and a headshot if she wants, and RSVPs. Eight 2018. Cassie asked Shanann how everything was after Chris was at his parents' house. Shanann replied that it was a long story and that she was in the car on the way to the airport. Shanann says she will call Cassie Tom. I'm assuming tomorrow is what Tom meant. On 8/8/2018, Shanann texts Cassie a photo of a house for sale and they discuss mortgage issues as Cassie has a foreclosure on her history. Ooh. Ooh. 8/8/2018, Shanann shares that Celeste is 37 pounds and Bella is 40. 8/8/2018, Cassie asks how the ultrasound went. 8/8/2018, Shanann replied, He said we're not compatible anymore. He refused to hug me. Said he thought another baby would fix his feelings. Said he refused couples counseling. 8/8/2018. Cassie said that was a load of shit. Shanann said she could not take anymore. She said that he had a lot of time to reflect his feelings, and that he said a few months. Shanann did not get it. Shanann said that he has never called her Shanann till this week. Shanann said that Nicole knows. Shanann told Cassie she wants to know what fucking changed, and there were no signs of anything wrong. 0. There was sex all the time, talking, going places, doing things. He just says he does not feel it anymore. Shanann asked Cassie how she makes him feel compatible again. Cassie asked if there was someone else, and Shanann told her, in parentheses, he says no. Shanann asked if she should call Mark to talk with him, stating that he talks. Cassie tells her that she can. Shanann apologized and said that Bella came into her bed and did not even ask where Chris was. Shanann said she thinks Bella senses she is in pain. On 8/12/2018 at 13:38 hours Colorado time, Shanann sends a list of counselors to Cassie. Monday 8/13/0900 hours Colorado time, Cassie texts Shanann asking how she is doing. Monday on 8/13 10:03 hours Colorado time, Cassie texts Shanann she is worried with no reply. By this time, when she had the doctor's appointment. Text between Cassie, Nicole, and Shanann. That's because Nicole was getting them all fired up. Okay, here we go. Ready, guys? I'm going to take a drink for this one. This is a group text thread. And it's on 8/8/2018 and 9:52 hours Colorado time. Cassie texts Shanann and Nicole to ask. Okay, I'm going to read it exactly as it states, with all of these weird words in there that don't make sense. So sorry if it's choppy. I'm just not going to put words in that would make it make sense. It's just like this whole thing. I can't make it make sense. So here we go. Cassie texted Shanann and Nicole and asked if they would still be her friends if she lived in Boulder. After six texts about that, Shanann asked Nicole to tell her the sex of her baby, saying she needs happy news. They arranged for Nicole to tell Shanann in person, and Cassie wants to FaceTime it with them. Shanann tells Nicole to come early, that she is up at 6. Nicole asks what time Chris leaves. Shanann replies, "Dude, 0 need sex. 6. Come in whenever in AM, just not 11. Nicole asks what is at 11, and Shanann replied, "Too long," and a laughing emoji. Agreed to around 7:30 or 8. Shanann texts to ask or tell someone to text Taylor about canceling the reveal. Nicole said she texted Taylor. Shanann tells them not to slip on Facebook as she does not want anyone to know right now, because Chris will then know, and she wants him to want to know. Cassie replied, "Fuck him. Yes, I said it." Shanann replied, "I agree, Cass." Both Nicole and Cassie agreed not to post on Facebook. Shanann replied, "Please no. He doesn't deserve to know. He doesn't even want it, jackass. He's such a fucking liar. He said, I think it would be great having another. He wanted to do this. He started the convo. You don't get me pregnant and not love me. What's that gonna do? Nicole encourages Shanann, stating that she is one of the strongest people she knows and knows she will get through this. Shanann replied, Fuck him. I am nowhere near perfect, but I love unconditionally. Oh, give my all. I do so much as a mom and wife, more than 90% of the women out there. This fucking sucks so bad because I do love him and his ducking flaws. Cassie encouraged Shanann, and Shanann replied, This was a total slap in the face, stab in back to the heart. I can't afford 3 kids alone in Colorado. Cassie and Nicole encouraged Shanann, and Shanann told them she loved them. They start chatting about Cassie and Josh moving into the house with Shanann. Shanann says the house is in Chris's name. They discuss that the court would make them sell it before Chris just gets it. They encourage Shanann further. Shanann replied that masturbating is an awesome stress reliever with a laughing and I don't know emoji. Dear God, is that why she didn't want them coming over at 11 o'clock? She's telling them she's freaking masturbating? What in the fucking hell is this woman? What? Paddling the pink canoe while she's telling it what is wrong? Bashing her husband and beating off. They encouraged Shanann further. Shanann replied that masturbating is an awesome stress reliever with a laughing and I don't know emoji. Shanann said that when she asked him for a hug and to hold her tonight for a minute, he said he couldn't right now. Shanann said he's not there right now. Well, obviously, if you're sitting there spinning the bean. Shanann sent a screenshot of what appears to be her texting Chris. Today at 9 a.m. Let me see what date this is. Make sure it doesn't say. So it looks like this is still on 8/8, but it doesn't specify it. It says here. Shanann sent a screenshot of what appears to be her texting Chris. Today, 6:09 a.m. Do you want to find out together with me tonight on the baby's gender? Chris replied, yes, and Shanann loved his reply with a heart emoji. Shanann replied, please take 5 minutes today to write me and tell me how you are feeling. I love you, Chris, more than you know. She's sitting there hashing on him to her friends. Just a little side note here. She's sitting there telling her friends that he doesn't deserve to know. And then she's like, Chris, do you want to know? Who in the heck? I say, is this woman 12? Shanann texted that she offered it to him this morning and told Cassie and Nicole, I need us to work, and if he's wanting to know with me, I'm willing to wait. Can you put it in another envelope? I'd still love to see you. Now, Thursday, 8/9/2018, 17:29 hours Colorado time, so 5:29. Cassie texted that her interview went amazingly and asked what happened with Shanann. Shanann replied that she was talking with Chris and would text them later. And still on 8/9 at 8:49 Colorado time, Cassie asks Shanann and Nicole how they are doing. Shanann replied that Chris wants to move to Brighton. Shanann texts, Nico Lee Watts. We are not telling the world till Monday. Tonight has been the best talk yet. Wow. So this is where she because honestly, I could not believe that this is what she wanted to name the baby based on her not knowing that the lover's name is Nicole and she's naming the baby Nicole. I mean, she's spelling it Nikolee. NK spells her name Nikol. And her middle name is Lee. So it's Nic or N is it Nickol? Oh my god. Ow. Or did Chris say that he wants to name the baby Nicole? I mean, come on. And then there was this conjecture that Shanann only told Junior that this is the name that she wanted. So this is interesting to see this. And most people spell it Nico, so it's interesting to me to see it Niko. Legless lizards. Nikolee. Because Nik. Oh my word. And then it says, we are not telling the world to Monday. Tonight has been the best talk yet. Texts are then about Arizona travel. Monday at 12:25 a.m. equals 8:13, 2018, 01:25 hours Colorado time. Shanann texted, landed with 3 sleeping emojis. And then text between Cassie and Chris. Monday at 11:43 a.m. 8:13, 2018 at 12:43 hours Colorado time. Cassie texts Chris to tell him she is worried and knows they are having problems, but she has never seen Shanann so broken to the extent that she is worried. Chris replied to Cassie, she went to a friend's house with the kids. She won't tell me where. Tough. Should be though, but it's spelled tough. When I get home, I will update you. Cassie tells Chris that her car and shoes and everything is at the house. She asks what's going on and that she would totally shut out everything, saying it's not like her. Well, gee, how does Cassie know this other than N.A. telling her, right? Chris replied, I told Nikki about it so she wouldn't freak out anymore at the house. I think Christina knows as well. We talked last night and I told her I wanted to sell the house, get something smaller. Separation would be best right now if we can work through the issues. I really don't want you to think I'm a bad person, Cassie. Cassie replied that she did not care and was worried about Shanann's well-being. She told Chris that Nikki was calling the police due to their concern. 8:13, 2018 at 1:05 hours Colorado time. Chris replied, I'm going home, Cassie. On my way. Don't call the police. I'll be there in 45 minutes. Now the attachments to this are the screenshots received from Cassie of text between Cassie and Shanann. Text between Cassie, Nicole. Okay, because Nicole Atkinson is Nick. So is Nicole Kissinger's Nikol? Oh my god. And Shanann, and then number 3 is text between Cassie and Chris. All these Lees. And oh no. Now Discovery page 637, and we're at 567 if you're following along. And we are back here to another investigative supplement. And it's the second search of Survey 319, search of 1029 and 1129 on Survey Ranch for blankets and toys. And it is on 8/21/2018. And the reporting LEO is Agent Greg Zettner of the Denver CBI, and the backup LEO is Agent Ronald Eric Karskelen, and he's from the gaming in CBI Denver. And it was approved on 8/24 by, you ready? Agent in charge, Kirby Quinn Lewis. And the synopsis is that the search of Survey 319, the road leading to Survey 319, search of Survey 1029, and Survey 1129 for missing blankets and toys from the house. Watts stated he left these items on Survey 319, but the initial search of the area did not recover them. And the address it's saying is in Roggen, Colorado, at the Survey Ranch. And it is the subject, it says subject name is Luke Epple. He's a person who's 35 years old, and he's a white male, and he's not a juvenile. And then the subject number 2 is Tony Husky, who is a person. He's a white male. He's not a juvenile. And he's a regional security manager, and it does not state his age. And then it says the interagency division is Matt Pollard. And he's not a juvenile. And he is in the Colorado State Land Board. And then the subject name is, you ready? Binion Survey. And that is the Binion Survey, as in Binion's in Las Vegas, the casino. He is the owner of Binion's. I don't think Binion's is in business anymore, but it was one of the big clubs ran by the mob back when Vegas was good and orderly. The mob did a good job in Vegas, except for the whole, except for the bodies that are now watched. Did you guys see that? That because Lake Mead, because water levels are so low, all of these bins are washing up, and bodies are no longer hidden because the water tables are too low. So they're getting these barrels and opening them up, and they're, in the same outfit they were wearing, in the 60s and 70s, because Lake Mead was prime body dumping areas. And it said that there were certain members of the mob that were very, very interested in weather and weather changes and Lake Mead and what its water level was. So yeah, the bodies were showing. So I mean, the mob is great, except for the whole murderous nature of them, But so Binion Survey was a big rodeo guy, and that's, I think, how he made all of his money. So he owns all this land in Colorado, and bought the casino, and I think his family is based there in Colorado, so he owns the land. So this Survey Ranch, Anadarko put their equipment on it. They leased this land from Binion Survey. So I just thought that was a bit of trivia there that I never really put together when it was like Survey Ranch until I saw this. I was like, Binion? Like, that is a name you just don't forget. And then it says here, okay, so it's got the telephones of everybody there. And now the synopsis says, on Tuesday, August 14th, 2018, I, Colorado Bureau of Investigation CBI agent Greg Zettner, received a request from the Frederick Police Department to assist with a missing persons case. On Tuesday, August 21st, 2018, CBI agent Ron Karskelen and I searched Survey Ranch sites Survey 319, Survey 1029, and Survey 1129 for blankets and toys reportedly missing from the Watts' house. The action taken. On Friday, August 17, 2018, I re-interviewed Anadarko employee Troy McCoy. See CBI Supplemental Report 2018 TAC 273 /8. During this interview, McCoy said that he thought Chris Watts may have placed evidence related to this case on Survey Ranch oil well sites on Monday, August 13th, 2018. On Tuesday, August 21st, 2018, at approximately 12:53 p.m., I contacted Anadarko Regional Security Manager Tony Husky and requested permission to go to the oil well sites on Survey Ranch to look for items of evidence related to this case. Consulted with legal representation from Anadarko and then granted us permission to go onto the sites. Husky said that he would be able to provide an escort to the sites. GPS information provided earlier in the investigation by Anadarko showed Watts drove to 3 different oil well sites on the Survey Ranch on Monday, August 13th, 2018. These sites were identified by Anadarko employees as Survey 319, Survey 1029, and Survey 1129. At 1:25 p.m., I contacted Binion Survey, who was the owner of the Survey Ranch, just like I was saying, via telephone, and requested permission to go to his land where the oil well sites are located to search for evidence related to this case. Mr. Survey verbally granted permission for law enforcement and Anadarko employees to enter his property to look for evidence. At about 2:30 p.m., Husky advised me that one of the oil well sites, Survey 1029, I requested to visit on the Survey Ranch, was actually on property owned by the state of Colorado. I contacted Matt Polart, who was the manager of the North Central District of the State Land Board, and requested permission to go on the land which contained Site Survey 1029. Polart verbally granted permission for CBI agents to look on this parcel of land for any evidence related to the case. I never knew that there was that delineation of land, because now you've got private and you've got the state land board. Wow. This is the first I've heard of him being, of them having to get in an agent of the state land board. That's really interesting. At approximately 3:30 p.m., CBI agent Karskalen and I entered onto the Survey Ranch, escorted by Anadarko employee Luke Eppel. We first drove to Survey 1029 and completed a search of the surrounding area for any evidence. We did not locate any items of evidentiary value. Using GPS information provided by Anadarko and the statements from McCoy, we were able to locate an area of interest on the south side of the holding tanks on Survey 1029. McCoy told agents that Watts had parked his work vehicle on the south side of the holding tanks so Watts could defecate. Holy take a deuce. McCoy thought Watts may have buried evidence there. Oh, yeah, turd. We were able to locate an area of ground which appeared to be recently disturbed, as well as tire tracks on the south side of the holding tanks. We used a shovel to carefully scrape off the top layers of dirt. We discovered what appeared to be paper towels with what excrement. My God. So they found his turd. They found Watts's frickin' turd in some paper towels. Basically, saw that that wasn't the stuffed animal or the blanket when they started digging, that it was a frickin' Snickers bar or something. And what in the world? Why? 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 Why would this happen in this case? I mean, honestly, why would they have to dig up the turd? That I mean, what? Oh, and why? Oh, I no, 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 no. Okay, and are there no cameras for this whole work site? Because why is he pooping outside? Why is he doing this? What is his problem? Oh God, it says nothing else was located in this area, and then it's in parentheses. It says see attached videos and photos. I don't want to see. I want to see this turd. It says we then proceeded to survey 1129 and search this location on foot. We did not locate any items of evidentiary value. I wonder if they bagged up that turd. And then it says we left survey 1129 and drove slowly on the road to survey 319, checking the side of the road for any evidence. We did not locate any items of evidence on the side of the road. We then entered survey 319 and searched the site on foot. We did not locate any items of evidentiary value. We left the survey ranch at about 6 p.m. Nothing further. Gee, Zentner. Okay, and then it's got this whole thing of the attachments, video clips in the image and stuff, and also probably pictures of the frickin' turd. Yeah. All right, now let's see here. Because we've got text messages between Christina Meacham and Chris Watts on 8/21. Christopher should have already been in jail by then. So what is this? Because it says the reporting LEO is Hassenstad. So Agent Kellen John Hassenstad from the Denver CBI. And it was approved, of course, by Agent in Charge Kirby Lynn Lewis. Kirby Quinn Lewis. On August 21st, 2018, I, CBI agent Kellen Hassenstab, received an email from Christina Meacham containing 5 image files of a text message string between her and Chris Watts, starting on Monday, August 13th, 2018 at 10:10 a.m. The image files are attached to the supplemental report, and nothing further with the synopsis only. And it has Christina Meacham, 38 years old, unknown female, it says. And she's not a juvenile. She's not white. She's super pretty. I know that she lives in Hawaii. I don't know if she's... I don't know what ethnicity is. She's just gorgeous. And then, okay, so occurrence on 8/21. Source reliability unknown. Reporting LEO is Agent Kevin Kobach of the Pueblo CBI Denver. Approved on 8/24 by Agent in Charge Kirby Quinn Lewis. And then it says the third interview phone with Nicole Kissinger. Okay, so they have her name spelled Nichol. Okay. That makes me feel a little better. It's not the exact... Okay. And then witness Nicole Lee Kessinger, person, and then occupation, quality control, safety. So I don't know what's going on here because it said it was going to be some... It said it was going to be something different. And then here, let's see. Okay. So it says a synopsis August 21, 2018, phone interview with Nicole Kessinger. So where's the Christina Meacham stuff? Huh? I don't know why that was there and why this isn't showing. I don't know what's going on there. Well, anyway, it says action taken. On August 21st, 2018, I, Colorado Bureau of Investigation Agent Kevin Kobach, spoke with Nicole Kessinger by telephone. Nicole updated me on memories regarding her relationship and conversations with Christopher Watts. The following is a summary of the phone call with Nicole. The phone call was recorded and is attached to this report for a review of the exact content of the interview. The interview was sent for transcription on August 22, 2018. Nicole stated the following during the interview. She has been thinking about Chris's use of Thrive. Chris always wore at least 2 patches, usually on his left and right bicep, tricep area. Chris would also apply the patch on his lower back. Chris also used the supplements, shakes, and pills on a daily basis and followed the Thrive routine. Chris lost 13 pounds between July 4th and August 11th of 2018. So she's saying he's using 3 because she says at least 2 patches, usually on his left and right bicep, tricep area, and then would also apply the patch on his lower back. So she's saying he wore at least 2 patches, and I know that there's a system that does require, you wear one or whatever, and then the other. That's not what he was doing. He was not doing what was recommended in the way that it was recommended. Like that's why there's questions about this, is if he was taking more than he was supposed to, and the rapid weight loss and what was in them. Could what was in them have contributed to his behavior? And that's why this didn't make it to a trial, because I'm telling you that more than one person had a lot of money at stake here. They didn't want this going to trial. And it's not the people that had the money, it's the companies that I mentioned. And I'm not going to say it specifically because I don't want to get sued, but just think about it. And then, so he's wearing at least 2 patches and using the supplements, shakes, and pills on a daily basis. So supplements, shakes, and pills, and stickers. Oh, how much did that cost? On July 4th, 2018, Nicole went to Chris's home in Frederick, Colorado to help Chris set up his diet and weight loss exercise goals. Nicole said this is the first time she was at Chris's home. After spending time at Chris's home on July 4th, 2018, Nicole went to the Colorado Rockies baseball game without Chris. The second and final time she went to Chris's home was on July 14th, 2018. Nicole said Chris was always full of energy and he did not need to sleep. He regularly went to sleep at 11 to 12 a.m. and woke between 4:30 and 5. Nicole recalled that Chris would sometimes fall asleep during their conversations, but catch himself and wake back up. Nicole recalled the following dates and locations which she and Chris visited during their relationship. On Saturday, August 11th, in 2018, Chris drove to her home in his Lexus. They went to the Lazy Dog Bar at 120th and Federal in Westminster, Colorado, and chose to leave this location and go to another Lazy Dog bar at 144th Avenue and I-25 in Erie, Colorado. They drove Nicole's Toyota 4Runner to both locations. After having a meal at the second Lazy Dog, they returned to Nicole's home. Chris left her home in his Lexus. Nicole recalled the Chris always paid for their meals when they were out on dates. Chris had always paid for everything using Anadarko gift cards. Nicole was not certain how Chris got the gift cards, but believes they were given to him by Anadarko as a bonus or for being safe on the job. Nicole believed Chris had been using the gift cards to hide their relationship from Shanann. Well, I think you're right, ma'am. Nicole noticed on August 11, 2000, says 2108, at the Lazy Dog in Erie, Colorado, Chris paid for their meal with a baby blue credit card. During this time, Chris also made it clear to Nicole he was filing for divorce from Shanann. Nicole thought it was unusual for Chris to pay with a credit card, as he had always used the gift cards. She believed Chris had nothing to hide anymore from Shanann, so he was not concerned with paying with the credit card that Shanann may be able to see transactions on. Friday, July 6, 2018, on Saturday, July 7, 2018. Like I said, that's the way it's worded. Chris and Nicole went to a movie theater near 144th and I-25. They attempted to see Jurassic Park at approximately 7 p.m., but the show was sold out. They walked to a bench near Victoria's Secret and sat and talked for approximately 2 hours, then attended the 9 p.m. show. Saturday, July 14, 2018. This is the second time Nicole had been to Chris's home. She picked him up at his home and they drove to Boulder, Colorado in her Toyota 4Runner. There they went to the Shelby Mustang Museum. They arrived at approximately 11 a.m. After going to the museum, Nicole took Chris back to his home. July 21st, 2018. Chris and Nicole went to Bandimere Speedway to watch the drag races. They arrived in the early afternoon. Prior to attending the event, they went to a rooftop bar in Morrison, Colorado, where they ate lunch. Nicole could not recall the name of the bar, but after an open source search, it is likely the location is the Rooftop Tavern at 215 Bear Creek Avenue, Morrison, Colorado. On July 28th and July 29, 2018, Nicole and Chris went to the Great Sand Dunes National Monument in Alamosa, Colorado. They drove to the location in Nicole's Toyota 4Runner. They tent camped at Zapata Falls in an established campground on July 28, 2018. Nicole said they stopped at a local gas station near the Great Sand Dunes National Park and purchased ice and firewood. Nicole said Chris paid for the items, but she was uncertain if he used a gift card. Chris also rented sandboards for the Great Sand Dunes. The only gas station near the Great Sand Dunes is the Oasis 5400 Colorado 150 Mosca, Colorado. I wonder who took care of Dieter when they were gone overnight. They better not add him in the kennel. When returning home from the Great Sand Dunes, Nicole's friend Charlotte asked her to go to the Renaissance Festival. Nicole made an excuse why she couldn't go, as she was with Chris and did not want Charlotte to know. You should have went. The Renaissance Fair in Colorado would have been really freaking cool, ma'am. I love the Renaissance fairs in Southern California and Vegas. They they travel, so it's probably the same one that went there. Um, it's really cool. Nicole made an excuse as to why she could not go, as she was with Chris and did not want Charlotte to know. Charlotte to know. Nicole said she and Chris stopped in Colorado Springs at BJ's. They sat to the right of the doors and Chris paid for their meals with a gift card. BJ's restaurant is located at 5150 North Nevada Avenue, Colorado Springs, Colorado. Both then returned home. Nicole said Chris left Colorado for North Carolina on July 31st, 2018. She could not recall what day Chris returned home, but believed he was gone for approximately 1 week. She said the next date she had with Chris was on August 11, 2018, when they visited the Lazy Dog Bar. Nicole recalled further information on statements made by Chris. She said at the time he made the statements, they did not really cause her concern, but when reflecting back on the conversation, they caused her concern. Nicole referenced a phone call with Chris on Monday, August 13, 2018. She said this was in the evening and Chris was making statements about his children's sheets being smelly and about Shanann's wedding ring. During this conversation, Chris told Nicole that Shanann was okay with their separation. Nicole found this concerning as she had discussed with Chris trying to repair his relationship with Shanann prior to him leaving for North Carolina. Chris told Nicole he had told Shanann he wanted to fix their relationship while in North Carolina, and Shanann said she did not want to try and wanted a divorce. Nicole believed Chris was lying about Shanann saying she was okay with the divorce/separation. Nicole said during the same phone conversation she and Chris discussed why Celeste's EpiPen would have been left behind by Shanann, knowing that Celeste had an extreme nut allergy. Nicole said she questioned Chris about it as it seemed odd, and Chris responded saying they had a stash of EpiPens and maybe Shanann took one of those. That's what I'm saying. Nicole said she knew this was a lie as the EpiPens are very expensive. Well, you end up with several, ma'am, because they expire fast. And you're not supposed to use them after they expire, but we all do. We keep them around in other places. They're covered by insurance, but then you have the copay. But anyway, Nicole also questioned Chris during this phone call as to why he had not come to the Anadarko office location on Monday, August 13, 2018. She said although Chris usually comes into the office location in the mornings, there had been times when he reported directly to the field. Nicole said it was ironic his wife was missing and he did not come to the office that day, so she questioned him. Nicole recalled Chris telling her on Sunday, August 12, 2018, that he was not going to come to the office and was going to a pump site. She recalled during this phone conversation on August 12, 2018, that a television was playing in the background, and she thought it was strange that Chris was watching television very late at night. Nicole believed Chris was waiting up for Shanann to arrive home from Arizona that evening. That is why the television was on. Chris told her during this call that he had to go to the field to check on a release. Nicole explained a release was a small oil leak at a well or pump site. Nicole was suspicious as to why Chris would be checking on a release, as he was not part of the environmental team. She explained usually if a release is reported, a team of environmental specialists respond to deal with the release. Chris occasionally deals with a release and may be responsible for closing valves or shutting off tanks to stop the release. Chris told Nicole he was going to check out equipment and do a lockout tagout on the site if there was a release. Nicole said Chris is tasked with doing a lockout tagouts, and there would be a record of some type of paperwork for this type of activity. Nicole questioned Chris about going to the job site on Monday, August 12th, 2018, in the morning and told him to prove he had been on the site. Okay, note to everybody here, I saw that too, that it said that he went to the work site on August 12th. This is why, because this is a typo, because we know that August 13th is the date we're talking about. And it says it here. It says Nicole questioned Chris about going to the job site on Monday. And then in parentheses it says August 12, 2018. So a couple of places in here it is written wrong. And it makes it very, very confusing because you're going, he went there on Sunday? Well, it's here again. Not dated correctly. And so it says in the morning, and she told him to prove he'd been on the site. Chris responded with text messages between him and other Anadarko employees to prove he was at the site. Chris also sent Nicole a picture of a release. Nicole said Chris told her that Luke Eppel, Chris's supervisor, had requested Chris or Troy, unknown last name it says, to respond to the release. We know that that's Troy McCoy. Chris told Troy he would take care of the release according to Nicole. Nicole said she ended the phone conversation with Chris, and he later FaceTimed her with that evening. And it says again, August 12, 2018, which we know is August 13th, but anyway. She said on the video call, Chris was wearing a black, in parentheses, wife beater t-shirt, and he was laying on a mattress with no sheets on it. Nicole did not know. No, boo-boo, honey. No, boo-boo, honey. Please don't put your butt on the keyboard, please. I'm sorry. I'll be done in a minute, okay? And then I'll love you. I'm sorry, boo-boo. You feeling better, boo? Are you feeling better? How are you? Are you better? Down for a minute? Boo Boo was sick earlier, so. You okay, Boo? You need your mom? You gonna go there? With that? Gonna hide? There, go. Thank you, Boo. Thank you, Boo. I'll move this. I'll move that. You okay? Are you okay, Boo Boo? Just a minute, okay? Sorry, everyone. A little note here. I got myself a shirt that says, "My Valentine has paws." Because he does. I love Boo Boo. I love him so much. I love you, Boo. You wanna go lay down? Wanna cuddle? Okay, sorry about that. Like I say, I'm just in love with my Boo. Anyway, it says here that Nicole, blah, 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 blah. Okay. Nicole said she ended the phone conversation with Chris, and he later FaceTimed her that evening, August 12, 2018. She said on the video call Chris was, okay, I'm sorry. I got all infatuated with my Boo when I read the wrong thing. Okay. Nicole did not know what bed Chris was laying on, but said it did not look like his makeshift basement bedroom. Nicole said the mattress Chris was laying on could have been blue in color. I asked Nicole about her social media use, and she said she's not used social media since approximately 2018. Okay. What? It says she's not used it since approximately 2018. They're talking in 2018. It doesn't make any sense. Nicole said she last used LinkedIn, however rarely. Nicole said she discussed with Chris shutting down his Facebook.com profile. Chris mentioned to her on Saturday, August 11, 2018, during their dinner, that he had shut down his Facebook.com account. Chris said he did not use the account. Nicole asked if he had shut the account down all the way by sending a request to Facebook.com, and Chris did not know about this requirement. Nicole believed his account was only deactivated on August 11, 2018. Nicole and I discussed her willingness to provide me with her Apple iPhone 6 so further attempts could be made to recover her deleted text messages. Nicole said she would provide the phone and would consent to a search of the phone. Nicole further stated she had recovered from her Verizon her call logs from July to August 13, 2018. Nicole is going to provide those documents to me at our next meeting, and nothing further, and investigation continues. No, boo boo, honey. No, boo boo, baby. Okay, and then it gives that it's got another attachment. Well, there we go. And I'm going to have to go before Boo Boo puts his butt on my laptop. And we're going to go here. We're going to end on page 578 of 1960, which ends us on Discovery page 652. Thank you so much for listening. And sorry I've got to cut it short, but if Boo Boo starts stepping on everything and puts his butt on everything, we're gonna have problems, and it could get really messy here if I don't obey him. He's my cat god, and I'm his human. So thank you once again for listening to part 21. And like I say, please like and subscribe. Thank you so much. I hope that you guys have a good day back to work tomorrow if you have to go. And if not, keep relaxing. Thanks again. Bye-bye.